Buckle up, Buttercup, and welcome back to Pittsburgh Sports Talk. I'm your host, Randy the Tank Tantlinger. Spring is in the air. Na-na-na-na-na-na. Spring is in the air. Well, at least it is in the southern hemispheres. Down in Argentina and Brazil, the average temperature will be 91 degrees today. Here in Morgantown, 30 and gray. But that's okay. We'll make the best of the day together, you and I. Talking some Pittsburgh Penguins in that first segment. I do like this team. I do love this team. How you cannot like this team? Its core are Stanley Cup champions. Its core knows how to get it done. It's that simple. Sidney Crosby, Milky. Did you like the stick to Rattlesnake's teeth there? Or at least attempted teeth headshot there by Malkin last Monday in Philadelphia? I did. I had no problem with it. Do I think it warranted 5-minute major? No. Do I think it warrants $5,000 fine? No. Does it send a message to the Philadelphia Flyers that the Pittsburgh Penguins will not take crap from them? Yes. You gotta love Malkin. He's your best defenseman the last 2 years with Letang and, well, his decline. Sorry to see. But I love the fact that Melky didn't take, crap from the Flyers. Well done, 4-1 victory. And we'll see what the Penguins do today against the New York Rangers, minus Mark Messier. Always got to say that. For you youngsters who never saw Mark Messier play, you were missing something there. He was the complete player. And Google him, Yahoo him there, Instagram him, whatever you kiddies do out there to find out about Mark Messier. He was a talent in the day for the Rangers. All right, switching gears. A lot of you out there in Steelers Nation you took the barbecue to new heights in the middle of winter. You set torches to your number 84 jerseys. A man who arguably is the greatest wide receiver in Pittsburgh history. A man who has Gorilla Glue on his thumbs and will catch anything you throw at him. Or super glue, whatever kind of glue you want to use. Elmer's wood glue. We used that back in the 70s to make model airplanes. You kids today probably got no idea what Elmer's glue is. AB is no doubt a great talent. And again, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. You have two things with AB. You have stats, you have character. Let's talk stats first. AB. I'm going to go a little Jekyll and Hyde on you here. I'm not absolute about him yet. Absolute what, Tank? Absolute coming back to the Steelers. I'm just going to, state the case and let my brain free flow here. I'm going to go with Dr. Jekyll first, because if you're familiar with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll, he was the, rational one. He was a physician. Pretty brainy fellow. Mr. Hyde was the lunatic. So as Dr. Jekyll looks into the Steelers Nation crystal ball here, you got to love AB. You got to love his stats. 9 years with the team since 2010. 9 years. They go quickly, don't they, kiddies? In 9 years, he's won your hearts. He's won your minds. If you've ever been out to Latrobe during camp, the little kiddies go nutty for AB. Pepsi Cola drinkers go nutty for AB. Pizza Hut lovers go nutty for AB. Everybody loves AB. He's got that cute little smile. He can't sing so good. What was he dressed up like on the, the raw hippo on the singing show on Fox? Did you see it? He dressed up like a hippo. think that's part of the problem. He's hanging out in L.A., and that's where he wants to go. We'll get to that later. But when you look at this thing analytically with AB over the last 9 years, he has arguably become one of the top 3 wide receivers in the NFL. Julio Jones, AB, Julian Edelman. Just throwing that out there for you. I mean, you watched the same Super Bowl I did. Julian Edelman will forever be a Super Bowl MVP. But no, in all seriousness, I'm not ready to throw Edelman in the top 3 wide receivers in the league when you got, well, Odell Beckham out there, another head case. But man, he can catch a ball. So arguably over the last 9 years, AB has become one of the best wide receivers in the league. Does have a pretty good quarterback throwing to him. But when you look at him statistically, you know, he only played 9 games his rookie year. He had 167 total yards, no TDs. Steelers, I don't think, knew what they had at the time in the kid. You look at his second year in the league, and it was pretty amazing. 1,000-yard season for any wide receiver is a hallmark year, let alone doing it in your second year with 1,108 yards, 2 TDs, longest run of 79. His third year in the league, 700 yards. Then you really see the maturation, the maturity of AB in his fourth year in 2013. This is when he starts to break away from the pack. This is when he starts to show you, well, he can do things with his body that are amazing. Oh my moments. And then he began to rattle off these, well, incredible seasons. Close to 1,500 yards in 2013. 1,698 yards in 2014. Brilliant. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. 2015, he topped that with 1,834 yards. 1,834 yards. That's insane for a wide receiver. He had a drop off in 16 to 1,200. Dropped off to 1,500 in 17. Last year might have been, well, you know, the reason he got so upset, he only had 1,297 yards. My God, the league average is 600, 500 for a good wide receiver. Maybe AB wasn't happy with his 15 touchdowns he had last year. I don't know. 15. Like I said, 1,297 yards. That's almost 1,300 yards. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So is AB one of the best in the league? Yeah. Is AB quite arguably the greatest wide receiver in Pittsburgh history? Look, if we're going to talk about this thing intelligently with AB, you have to. You absolutely have to. Now, again, you got to be rational. You got to be Dr. Jekyll while you're looking at AB. Mr. Hyde is his crazy side. When you're talking the Jekyll things, the analytical side of things, you have to say AB is the greatest wide receiver in Pittsburgh history. Maybe this is why Steelers Nation is so upset. You have to, well, have a frame of reference, a point of reference. You heard about a guy named Lynn Swann for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's in a little thing we call the Hall of Fame. Do you know how many seasons AB has played with the Steelers? 9. Do you know how many total seasons Lynn Swann played for the Steelers? 9. And that was the end of his career. Of course, for you younger folks don't know, Swanee went out. Could have probably played till 16. He was in such great shape, but he went out because he had a series of concussions. Concussions prematurely ended Lynn Swann's career. However, He played 9 seasons for your Pittsburgh Steelers. And to date, is recognized as the greatest wide receiver in Pittsburgh history. Now look, when I know you're comparing stats, this is a passing league now, right? That's what everybody sees. That's why everybody, hated the Super Bowl. I loved it. Defensive struggle. If you listened to the show last week, me and former NFL quarterback Mike McMahon broke down the Super Bowl. I loved it. Thought the Super Bowl was a great defensive game. But back in the day, Lynn Swann, who is considered the greatest wide receiver in Steelers history, had a total over his 9-year career of 5,462 yards. Not too shabby. And 51 touchdowns. As you look at AB's career, they don't even match up over 9 years. 11,207 total yards for AB, 74 touchdowns. If you're going on pure athleticism too, I think AB has the edge there. So I know it's a passing league and everybody's going to go to that. But listen, you have to say it. Regardless of the Mr. Hyde stuff that's going on with AB, and we're going to get to it in the next segment. He is, after 9 seasons, the greatest wide receiver ever to play in Pittsburgh. Hands down. These numbers are unbelievable. At the same time, you had Le'Veon Bell playing and putting up over 1,000-yard seasons as well. Unbelievable. Of course, that was the testament to this offense that should have went to 2 Super Bowls in the last 6 years. Totally different argument. I'm going to get to that in the next segment. But the bottom line is, when you talk about AB, you got to talk about 2 things. His stats, which make him the greatest wide receiver in Steelers history. Hands down. No doubt about it. In the next segment, we're going to get to, character. The Mr. Hyde aspects of AB. Hey, I'm Tank Tantlinger. You're listening to Pittsburgh Sports Talk. We're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Mr. Hyde, the evil side of, AB.